Hey, welcome to Mission Church. Whether you're joining us online or from a watch party, we are grateful you are choosing to gather with us today. My name is Jessica. You know, as I look through this Bible, I see a number of stories of Jesus choosing harmony over war, choosing the hurting over the rich, and choosing unity over division. Unity is this word that we're going to focus on all month long. In fact, we are going to look at 3 injustices that happen right here in your hometown. There are kids and students and moms and dads, they are hurting. And there are many ways that we can give towards that, but a big way is through our time, our money, our prayer, and our actions. Through all of those 4 ways, we will be giving back to God and seeking unity among this community. So as you watch your story, think about that word, and I will circle back with you afterwards and show you and tell you what our effort is this week together.
Well, welcome back to week 2 of our series, Fighting for Unity in a Divided World. I'm so thankful that you are joining back with us because, man, let me tell you something. I think that this is one of the things that is so important for us to be able to figure out, because the reality is that the world we're living in today is pretty crazy. It's hectic. It is all of those things, and we're calling it a new normal, which I'm not okay with, because if this is normal, I don't know about you, but I do not want it. And so what we're doing is we are learning from Jesus about what it looks like to fight for unity in a divided world. A story that has become known as the parable of the Good Samaritan. It's one of Jesus' most famous parables. And what parables are these stories that Jesus would tell to help people see the world through a different lens, to help people see the world through the eyes of heaven. And so Jesus tells a story. And in this story, Jesus reveals 3 such important things about what it really looks like to love others. 3 lessons that we can learn as we are trying to figure out what it looks like to fight for unity in our divided world. So this is where Jesus starts the story. It's in verse 30 of Luke's Gospel, chapter 10. He says, a Jewish man was traveling from Jerusalem down to Jericho, where he was attacked by bandits. These bandits stripped him of his clothes. They beat him up. They left him half dead beside the road. Now, by chance, a priest came along. But when he saw the man lying there, he crossed to the other side of the road and passed him by. Then a temple assistant walked over and looked at him lying there, but he also passed by on the other side. Now, important context here, right? Back then, they didn't have like hospitals and ambulances. So when people were hurting, when people were sick, they would go to the temple. And so when Jesus is talking about a priest and a temple assistant, the way that we could think this is Jesus is saying, hey, a pastor and a paramedic, they both walk by, they see this man half dead on the side of the road, and what do? They just keep walking. The people that should be there to help this person who is hurting, they just walk on by. And now maybe for you, when you think about all of the messiness, all of the noise, all of the anger in the world today, you're like, yeah, but like, I'm not a part of the problem, right? Like, I'm not the one that's bashing people on Twitter. I'm not the one that's going behind my friend's back and gossiping about them. I'm not the one that's posting all these hateful things on my Instagram. Like, I'm not a part of the problem. But what Jesus is showing us is that love is not passive. Love doesn't pass by on the other side. Love steps into the mess where people are hurting and is a part of the solution. What Jesus is showing us is that if you're not loving with action, then guess what you're not doing? You're not loving. Because love isn't passive. And choosing not to do anything is choosing not to love. So how do we fight for unity in a divided world? We learn to love like Jesus. And the Jesus kind of love is a love that takes action. It's not a love that passes by. It's a love that steps in, because love takes action. So, Jesus continues this story. And what he does here is he hits you with the plot twist. This is the part where Jesus throws a wrench into the story, where we've got these expectations of where things are going to go, and he says, nope, not today. We're going a different direction. In verse 33, here's what Jesus says. He says, then a despised Samaritan came along. Now, he wanted to make it very clear that people despised Samaritans. He's saying the person that you would least expect shows up. And this person doesn't pass by on the other side. What the Samaritan does, the Samaritan comes along, and when he saw the man, what did he do? He felt compassion for him. He didn't just ignore the problem. He did something about it. Basically, whoever you least expect, whoever you think of when you think that person is the problem, that's who Jesus is saying, they're the ones who showed up. They're the ones who see the man in the pain. They're the ones who say, hey, I'm not going to pass on by. I'm going to meet you right where you are because I'm not going to take a side and divide. I'm going to stand where Jesus stands. He stands with the hurting. He stands with the broken, and he offers them healing. I love the way that our senior pastor talked about this recently. He talked about Jesus doesn't draw lines to keep people out. He crosses lines to bring people in. And that's exactly what's happening with the Samaritan. Because the Samaritans and the Jews were enemies. They were on different sides of the line. When we talk about us versus them, there's us and then there's them. And the Samaritan said, no, I see somebody who's hurting. And they might be on the other side of the line, but I'm going to cross that line. And I'm going to sit in the mess with them because that's the right thing to do. Jesus chose a Samaritan in this story because he wanted us to see that the kind of love that he offers is a love that crosses lines. It's a love that crosses lines to bring people in. It doesn't draw lines to keep people out. And in a world where it's so tempting to draw a line between us and them, to draw a line to make it clear, I'm with them and I'm against them. What Jesus is showing us that love takes action and love crosses lines. And that's how we fight for unity in a divided world. We love with action and we love by crossing lines. We love like Jesus does. And what we're going to see in this next part of the story is the reality that love doesn't just take action. Love doesn't just cross lines. Love goes the extra mile. So, a despised Samaritan comes along, and he sees this man, and he feels compassion for him. Then he goes over to him. What we're told is that the Samaritan soothed his wounds with olive oil and wine, and he bandaged them. Then he put the man on his own donkey, and he took him to an inn, where he took care of him. The next day, he hands the innkeeper 2 silver coins. He tells him, take care of this man. If his bill runs higher than this, I will pay you the next time I'm here. Right? If it costs more to take care of this man, don't worry, I will be back and I will pay whatever extra I need to pay. This Samaritan didn't just take action. He didn't just cross lines. He went the extra mile because that's what love does. Love doesn't just give people a pat on the head and make sure that they're okay. Love does what people don't even ask for. Love shatters expectations. Love goes the extra mile and keeps following up with people that are hurting. Not what's expected, not what's asked, but what Jesus modeled. Because what's so beautiful about this story is we're being shown the truth that love takes action, that love crosses lines, that love goes the extra mile. And it's this kind of action-oriented, line-crossing, extra-mile walking love that Jesus has for every single one of us. Because at some point in our lives, every single one of us, we have been like that person who was dead on the side of the road because we were dead in our sins. And Jesus said, hey, I'm not just going to watch you suffer. I'm going to step into history. I'm going to cross the line between heaven and earth. And I'm going to go the extra mile, carrying the cross to Calvary to die for you, because that's what love does. It crosses lines, it takes action, and it goes the extra mile. So Jesus tells this story, the parable of the Good Samaritan. And then he asks a question to this lawyer, a question that I think all of us need to answer. He says, now, which of these 3 would you say was a neighbor? The pastor, the paramedic, or the Samaritan? Which of these 3 was a neighbor to the man who was attacked by bandits? Now the man replies, the one who showed him mercy. So Jesus says, yes, now go and do the same. So which one are you? Are you the pastor who walked on by? Are you the paramedic who walked on by? Or will you choose to be the Samaritan who takes action, who crosses lines, and goes the extra mile, choosing to love others the same way that Jesus has loved you? Because in a world where it's so easy to settle for division, we are called by God to fight for unity. Because Jesus never said, blessed are the side takers. No, he said, blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called children of God. And the thing that our divided world needs is a united church, a picture of heaven to our broken world, because what Jesus offers is good and it's true. That's why we call it the gospel. So, what will you choose? Will you choose to settle for division, to just walk on by? Or will you choose to fight for unity?
Thank you for tuning into today's story. Now I'll share a little bit with you about the effort that we will do together. Right here in this area, there's a place called Naomi's House. This place gives home to moms who's never had a home before. Not only a home are they given, they are able to hear about Jesus. They are able to receive comfy blankets and a bed. They are able to eat yummy meals and gather with brand new friends in this house. This week, I want you to write a card. I want you to write a card to a mom that lives at Naomi's house, letting them know that they are loved by Jesus.